everyone, from me and Treacle. Today I am bringing you a Kindle challenge that I have accepted. I instigated it really. So a little while ago I watched a video from Sam at Griff Reads where she was talking about her TBR for the summer and her summer plans. And in that she mentioned books that she wanted to read on a Kindle. I'm not very good at reading books on my Kindle, and I've got approximately 25, maybe 30 books on my Kindle, and they're just sitting there. And so I suggested to her, why don't we have a bit of a competition from the 1st of August to the 31st of August to read as many Kindle books as we can, and then we might check in throughout the month, and then at the end we'll be able to see who's read the most Kindle books. And Sam is really up for that. In fact, she said she's the closest she's been to being under 100 books in a long time. So I'm excited for this challenge because everyone's a winner. I read some books off my Kindle, she reads some books off her Kindle, and then ultimately someone will win, but I think we'll all win here because we'll have hopefully read some really good books that have been sat there for a while. And the problem with my Kindle library, and you'll see it when I go through my Kindle books in a minute, when you've got them in the library like that, unless you start clicking through and trying to find the details, you don't read the blurbs, you just see the titles or the book covers, and it doesn't tell you anything, and I think that's quite off-putting. So I've actually been through and took notes and wrote down what each book is about, and hopefully that will give me get me a bit excited about some of them, and then I will be able to pick some and find some gems, and I'm excited about that. So without further ado, I will click through to my Kindle library and show you what's on there. So I'll just click into my Kindle library, and there they all are. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. I will not be having the Lost in a Good Book by Jasper Fforde in the challenge. That's the third or the fourth book in the Thursday Next series, and although I do want to reread that series, not at the moment, so that's not on the challenge. We've got 13 Treasures by Michelle Harrison, which is a middle grade, which is basically the first in a trilogy. It says 50 years ago a girl vanished, and then there's two children who tried to solve what happened. We've got The Lending Library by Eliza Fogelson, which is that a local library shuts, and so she decides to use her sunroom in her house to allow people to still come and pick out books, and she also gets the chance to adopt an orphan child, which she's wanted to have children for a long time, so there's that one. I'll just go back up here because I wrote these in order and then somehow managed to download one. Mallory Towers by Enid Blyton, that's collection 1, so that's book 1 to 3. That's a middle grade that's set in a boarding school. I read those as a child, so that could be cool to read those again. Although if I'm doing the challenge, I might just read the first book. We'll see. The next one's The Boyfriend Project by Farah Roshan. That is I'd say it's a romance. It's not a romance. It gives me the vibes when I read the blurb of the film The Other Woman with Cameron Diaz, where it's about 3 women who are all duped by the same man. We've got Confessions of a Curious Bookseller by Elizabeth Green. Basically, she's been a bookseller for 20 years, and then a local indie bookshop opened, so she's got a bit of a rival, and that gave me a bit of You've Got Mail vibes, so that's an option as well. We've got Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've enjoyed quite a few of her books. This one's a shorter story, I believe, but it's told entirely through letters of 2 betrayed spouses. So I think it's their partners that go off together, and then she writes him a letter and they pick up from there. I'm not doing Goethe by Katerina Tukova because that's one set in Austria, I believe, and I want to save that for Eurovision-a-thon. We've got The Wedding Game by Megan Quinn. That's listed as a charming story of a crafting queen battling a jaded divorce lawyer on a wedding reality show. We've got The 24-Hour Cafe by Libby Page. I believe I've read The Lido years ago by her. This is said Welcome to the Cafe That Never Sleeps. So it's kind of one of them ones like the Claire Pooley one about, what was the Claire Pooley one where there was a notebook and they all wrote in it? I can't remember, but it gives me that kind of vibes. Then we've got Adulting by Liz Talley. This is about a Hollywood star who's on like a self-destructive path. She's tried rehab and now she's going on an adulting boot therapy camp. We've got You've Got Mail by Kate G. Smith. Somebody who's dumped by email from a relationship that she wasn't even in. So she emails this person back and tells them off. And then ends up going to a work conference, and I've got a feeling that maybe that person who sent her that email is there. We've got A Good Catch by Fern Britton. That's about a supposed marriage between two Cornish fishing families, or this couple are expected to get married, which would be ideal, but her best friend is in love with him and his best friend is in love with her, and so they're like, do we go ahead with this marriage and disappoint our best friends or not? The Dinner List, which is one that's really high up on my list by Rebecca Searle, because I read the back of this and thought this sounded good. It's a romantic comedy. It says, what if your dream dinner party happened? Audrey Hepburn, her best friend, her long dead father, her philosophy professor, and the love of her life. So I thought that sounds like an interesting concept. The 7-Day Switch by Kelly Harms. It says it's a Freaky Friday-esque between two, or I'm saying it's a Freaky Friday-esque book once I read the back, about two neighbours who couldn't be more opposite and then they switch bodies or lives. Have We Met, which is by Camille Baker. It says Corinne's life's in flux after losing her best friend to cancer. A mysterious dating app lands on her phone. And it's an invitation to connect with 4 missed connections from her past, and one is apparently her soulmate. The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I think most people know what that is now. It's a hockey romance. That might not be on the list because I might use that for Olympic-a-thon, although the video for that will probably go up before this, so you'll know if I've chose that. Well, you won't until I've done my wrap up, but I'm considering that for Olympic-a-thon for a book about sports. For the Love of Friends by Sarah Goodman Confino. That's a novel about the business of weddings, the toll they take, and the lengths one exasperated bridesmaid to go for the love of her friends. I'm leaving out Why Mummy Swears because I've got a couple of those books already on my shelves and I kind of want to read them in publication order. I don't know if you have to, but I want to. Life Unscheduled by Kristen Rockaway. That's a woman who's trying to balance... what does that say? Oh, balance her career, her best friend, and falling in love without crashing and burning. She schedules the next 6 months of her life. So I thought that sounded quite interesting. Love, Comment, Subscribe by Kathy Yardley. A romance about high school frenemies turning into unlikely collaborators. Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey is a playful romance about a Manhattan bookstore owner and a reclusive author who love to hate and hate to love each other. I'm leaving All on the Board for now. I'm already partway through that, and that's kind of just pick up as you feel like book. The Second Time We Met by Frances Mensah Williams. That's a romance. It says Coral's drama-filled African and Caribbean family couldn't be further from Henry's family of wealthy lords and ladies. So that's like, I think it's like a second chance romance because they meet a couple of times in this book. Let's have a look. I'm leaving The Pathless Past for now. As you can see, I'm 50% of the way through, but I'm probably going to have to reread that again. The Book of Boundaries, that's a non-fiction by Melissa Urban, which is exactly that, talking about how to set limits in your life. Keep It in the Family by John Mars, that's about a young couple whose house hides terrible secrets and not all of them are confined to the past. Summer Ever After I'm leaving because I think that's set in Spain and I want to use that for Eurovision-a-thon. The Last Boat Home, I think that's set in another country as well, so I'm saving that. And I can't remember why I was saving the Bookstore Wedding, but to be honest, they're the three most recent one that I've added. And when I say I've added, I get those books every month from Amazon Prime where you can pick a free one. So a lot of these are ones that I've picked for free and then not got round to. So we've got, I think, about 22 on this list that I'm considering for the challenge with Sam. And so that is my aim, to get through as many of those as possible. If you have read any of these and they're good, let me know. I'll put them to the top of the list. Yeah, so let me know. So there are all my Kindle books. As I said in while I was filming it, if you have read any of them, let me know. If any of them are a bit rubbish and you thought they weren't great, let me know that as well, and it'll just tone down my list. I reckon I can probably get through between 8 and 10 in the month, but who knows, if I'm on a roll, then I might read more. The first half, well, I say the first half, well, yeah, the first 11 days of August, I'll be doing some of Olympics-a-thon. That's the readathon by Clumsy Charlotte. So if there are some that fit in with those prompts, like the Elle Kennedy one for sport, that'll probably go in there. Pretty sure one of them must be a summer read, so that can go in there as well. And I'm also, oh no, the final book support group will have finished by then, so none of them will be there. So yeah, that is my main August plans, as well as Olympics-a-thon. But yeah, 1st to the 31st of August, the challenge with Sam, and we will see who wins. Who wins? Challenge on, Sam. Say bye, Trico. I realise now I look a bit like a Bond villain. Stroking my cat. Maybe I'm making this a bit competitive. But I will speak soon. Bye.